Hi everybody, Jillian here, back with a new video for you. Due to the overwhelming response that my first Plan With Me video got, I'm going to go ahead and do another one for you guys. But instead of working in the brand new Illustrated Faith Planner from Dayspring, I'm going to work in the one from last year. It was a little weird to be in June and then like doing in a spread in July, so I'm going to be working in the 18-month agenda planner that is no longer available. But if you do want to get started with me and plan with me, this is a look at the 2017-2018 agenda planner that Dayspring sent me, and this is what I will be using going forward next month. I've got it linked below if you guys want to check it out. Very quickly, I'm going to go through some supplies that I plan on using, and then I'll put you on fast forward and get started. So we're coming off of VBS, so I wanted to use some print and pray pieces. This is the Illustrated Faith Dude set from Salted Brew. This was the release from May, but it had a lot of, it's space themed, so I had to use this. It's called Universal Faith, and I'll link it in the print and pray shop down below. I've got some stickers here. I really wanted to use this word grace. This is from the 6x12 sticker sheet from the Extended Basics line. And then I'm also going to use some of these tickets, maybe from the same sticker sheet from Delight in His Day also. Speaking of stickers, I've got some alphabets here. In lieu of using stamps today, I'm going to go ahead and work through my sticker stash. I've got some acrylic paints here because I might try adding a little paint in the in the corners here, using a stencil that my friend Lindsay Decor made for me. I'll go ahead and link her channel below if you want to check it out. She's got some planner things happening over there and just an all-around great creative channel. What is a Plan With Me video without some washi? I've got my washi on a plastic embroidery hoop that I got at Michael's, I want to say the beginning of this year, end of last year. With that, I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get started. So I mentioned in my last video that it was helpful for me to get the big pieces down and then go in with washi tape and stamps and things like that and my handwriting and do the spread in the planner. So like I said, because our VBS was this past week and it was space themed, I decided to use the Universal Faith set from the Print and Pray shop. I cut apart the pieces that I knew I wanted to use, and I'll go back and actually fussy cut them while I'm waiting for the paint to dry. So I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling in the top left and the bottom right hand corner of the spread here. So I have demonstrated several times on my channel how to improperly use stencils, and so I think I finally figured out you guys are really great about providing tips and techniques that you know of and that work for you, so thank you. And I'm taking that advice and putting it into practice here and using a sponge instead of a card to get the paint on. And I ended up taking the sponge off of the wooden dowel that it came on, so I had a little bit more control, and I'm using way less paint than I normally would. So that left me with a much crisper impression than I used to get when I would use stencils. Plus, the one that Lindsay made for me is really thin. I'm not sure what this material is, but I feel like I had more success using this because it was such a thin material, almost like a silk screen. So I hit that with my heat tool a little bit, and then I'm going to let it air dry the rest of the way so I don't warp my pages, and then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut all of these shapes out. So I have them placed on the page where I think I want them, and I'm just going to use some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to get them down. I finally just now went and got some new roller adhesive, so I'll be back to using a much better method of applying adhesive to these pieces. But in a pinch, this stuff has been working great. So the little card that's like in the middle left there is actually where I'm going to record my prayers, and so it's going to be like a little flap that you can lift up. So I'm putting some washi tape around the page, just using it as kind of an anchor for that little astronaut guy and that planet, and I'm putting it in 3 places on the page. So I'm using this teal washi. I'm not sure where it's from. I think it's from Hobby Lobby or maybe a tube or something. I'm not quite sure. The black and white stripe is from the botanical set from the Me and My Big Ideas like tube of washi tape. And then the orange washi is from the I Am Strong devotional kit that Illustrated Faith came out with last year, which unfortunately is no longer available. So I'm using these alphabet stickers. They are from Allie Edwards, I think, and just spelling out VBS, and I kind of want to document a little bit about that in here, and so I stamped down the word loving just on top of the V, so it reads loving VBS, and then I'm going to go ahead and write down the scripture that we memorized that week. It's first Colossians. It's Colossians 1:16, but just to provide a little more context, I'm going to go ahead and include verses 15 and 17 also. And so those verses read, "The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." So I'm being mindful to leave some space underneath that planet over on the left because I want to write down some things that I've learned and kind of want to reflect on over in that area. So next I'm going to use the white homespun alpha stickers, and I'm going to spell out the word pray so that I know that that's what that's there for. So it's a little flap that's going to house my prayers. So I used this stamp set from Life Love Paper, and it was at Studio Calico. If it's still available, I'll link it below, and I just stamped out the word remember. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that set up to kind of write down some things that I want to remember from my Bible study this past week. And then I used that green little ticket from the Delight in His Day set just to fill in some of that space there. It was just bothering me. So I went through my notes, and I'm just drawing some journaling lines here since I'm going to be running into the day of the week there and just some weird lines. I ended up drawing one too many, so I decided instead to just cover it with some orange washi tape and then move that Amen washi down to the bottom of the page. Next, I pulled out these alphabet stamps there from Michaels. They're the Recollections brand, and I think they're just called Type Alpha stamps. I'll link them if they're still available at michaels.com, but when I was in the store last, I did see them at the end of their stamp section. So I'm just going to stamp out the words light and dark, but I really meant to stamp light and darkness, and I just forgot about it. So I'm just journaling, or actually just writing down some thoughts that I took away from my time in the book of 1 John. Next, I'm moving over to the left side of the page, and I wanted to use this little scripted word that said grace. It's from the Extended Basics sticker sheet. And I am studying the word grace, and I'm also reading the book Grace from Max Lucado. And I wanted to write down some of the quotes that stood out to me, or some of the points that he made that stood out to me that I had read over the last week. So I typically get those down in my journal, and I'm just going to kind of rewrite or paraphrase them here. I don't know about you guys, but it really helps me to memorize things and to get things in my mind when I write them down. Like when I was in school and we had to do Bible verse memorization, I just wrote the same verse over and over and over again until I had it committed to memory and then was able to write it down for the quiz. So I'm just going through my notes here, and then you can see that I used the planner stamps. I was very much inspired by Shauna Newell's Plan With Me video. I'll go ahead and link it in the top right corner, where she used the praise hands stamp to kind of document things that she was praising God for in her life, and so I decided to use the hearts as little bullet points for what I had taken away from the Grace study. So I ended up again running out of space on my camera, and you missed me writing out the currents section, but it was pretty simple. I just used some Kelly Perky alphabet stickers to spell out the word currently, and used the same stamps from Studio Calico to stamp out the words reading and listening to, and then documented that. I was left with a little bit of white space on the bottom, so I decided to go back to the print and pray pieces and cut out this little piece that said Explorer, and then I'm just going to adhere that and then kind of have it hang off the edge and trim the excess off. And you can see I added a little planet up to the top too because there was a little bit of empty space. Then I'm going to go in with some more black and white washi tape here and kind of separate these two sections, and then take the black Faber-Castell artist brush pen and put some dots around the page, fill in some space, kind of pull it all together, and that's it. Here is a finished look at the spread along with a couple of close-ups. Thank you guys for watching and for all of your feedback requesting to see more of these videos. If you have any questions or want to see anything in particular in these spreads, like a supply or something, I'd be happy to use it if I have it and kind of maybe give you a little more inspiration about how to use the agenda planner as a faith planner. Be sure to check back on Wednesday for a brand new Bible journaling process video, and I will see you then.